Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Hello, yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you, sir. Can you hear me, sir? Thanks for joining this call. Appreciate having you here.
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Great, great. My pleasure to talk with you today.
Excuse me?
My pleasure to speak with you today.
Yeah, I am looking forward to our discussion.
Great, great. Aline, right here, you showed interest on raising capital for your own fund. I think maybe the best way to start today's call with is just to give me better background on you and on what you have already done so far with your own fund. And before the end of the call, if there is any potential collaboration, so I will make sure to share the next few steps from there.
Oh, yeah, sure. Little background. I'm mostly an operating guy, but I have owned and operated a couple of private equity funds. Right now, we have a holding company that's got a couple of businesses in it. 6 years ago, we started working on a project called Carbatura. Carbatura takes municipal solid waste and we convert it into very valuable materials. And we do basically 100% recycling with zero emissions. We have about $1 billion worth of contracts right now that we're putting into a new company called Carbatura Inc. We have about 145 of these types of contracts in the pipeline. We have 10 in negotiations. And we have a capital requirement in the next 3 years of around $3.5 to $5 billion, depending on what the size of the contracts come in. And what Carbatura does is it owns and operates this equipment almost like a data center, except we're not moving bits around, we're moving trash around or waste and turning it into materials. Our contracts are with government entities; they're all AA rated. Our first two contracts are with a government entity in Pennsylvania, USA. Another one is with the Saudi Arabian Royal Commission of Jubail and Yambu. We're closing on 4 more contracts yet this year. Average investment, we start at about $75 million per facility, and then we go all the way up to about $250 million. But we also have 2 large proposals out that are each around $1.5 to $2 billion of capital equipment we have to do. And so I basically have to build our own captive fund. And we've set up our companies. We have a company called Carbatura Capital, and we don't need to be piggish like a fund doing, a 2 and 20. We're going to hold just 10% equity and no fees, and we're also structuring it so that LPs can come in, and after 3 years they can convert into a Class C stock that we're looking at having on the public traded market, so they could they're not locked.
Okay. So from thanks for sharing that. So from what you said, the fee structure would be 10% equity, correct?
That'd be our holding in. That would be our holding in the fund.
Okay. So no management fee at all, zero. Is that what you said?
Yeah, zero management fee.
Got it. Got it. And how many team members do you have today, sir?
In our holding company, there's 7 or 8 of us, and at Carbatura, there's another dozen right now. We're in the permitting processes on these facilities, and we contract out almost all the work. So, if I was going to say how many people are working on the project, around 50.
Around 50 on the fund, I mean, right?
Not on the fund. On the fund, there's only 3 or 4 of us working on that right now.
Okay, exactly.
And it's not full time. We're just starting to structure. That's what we're doing.
Yes, got it. And is it like something you just came up with that lately, or is it like you have already wanted to do that like a long time ago?
Well, it just makes sense for all the facilities we're rolling out. It makes the sense to have a separate co-investment company as a fund.
Got it. But is it like it's starting to make sense for you right now, or is it like you have already considered about it like a few years ago?
This concept we started 6 years ago, and we've been spent 6 years engineering, and then a year ago year and a half ago we started marketing, and that's when we landed the two contracts.
Mm,
And so we're now going from development stage to commercial stage and scaling. We have partners, um, and these to give you an idea, we get paid to actually take the waste. Our contracts are 450, 500 million for that. They're 30-year contracts. And then we actually produce around $3 to $6 billion of materials per facility from the waste. And so it has a very high margin business. It has a 70 to 85% gross margin and about a 30% EBITDA. And so that's the other reason we created a separate co-investment company or fund, is so that those investors can um, enjoy the earnings from all of the facilities, not just one.
got it. And what the minimum check size?
What? Say that again. I didn't pick that up.
Yes, I said the minimum check size from the investors or LBS. Do you have any terms on it?
No, we really haven't decided that. I mean, we're early stage, so we'll take smaller checks. Um, but
Any specific number?
no, we haven't really thought about it. I mean, I got friends I'll let in at 250K, but if I'm talking to an institution, minimum be a million or 3 million or somewhere in that range.
Got it. And what the capital targets that you are looking to raise?
It needs to be a continuous rolling fund or rolling raise, because we're bringing these things in. It needs to almost look like a warehouse type of facility where we bring in investment opportunities, we fund them, and then we roll those out into permanent financing. That's what we're working on with our banks right now. And so if I was just looking at the 20% equity that I think we're probably going to set aside for this fund to invest in all of our facilities, um, the next 3 years, we're probably going to raise 500 million to 700 million, I would think.
400 million to 700 million.
Yeah, somewhere in that range.
Got it. What do you think that you need to have in the place in order to achieve the capital targets that you are looking to raise?
Um, well, the one thing we're working on right now, we finished up our tax structuring. We have a lot of tax incentives is what we do. We are still working on um, how the liquidity would work for the investors on, where would we want to have a publicly traded stock so that if they wanted to convert their Class B into a Class C, that we don't have that figured out. We Probably the biggest thing is understanding our senior debt in the projects right now. We're talking to a dozen senior lenders right now, and that's over on the operating side. It's project financing basically. Um, we don't think that we can raise enough money to fund it 100% ourselves. So we're involving some leverage on the senior debt side.
Got it. So when you say leverage, is it like, do you have connections today or investors or LBS who are looking to deploy to the fund when it will go live directly? And if you have, how much do you think that they can deploy before the end of the year?
We're talking to several investors in the 10 to $20 million range right now.
Mm.
I was in a board meeting last night, and it's a sovereign fund. Uh, they they'd like to get in early and have a taste, and then they'd like to be there to back us up through all the deals. And they have some interesting tax incentives they could offer us because of their sovereignty. So it's we're going very cautiously, and we're just taking one step at a time. It's it's a very big plan. Now my background is I've raised maybe 18 to 20 billion dollars across my career. And I'm not scared of raising money. I've been successful at it, and like I said, I've had a couple of funds, but most of my work has been in operating. And one of my companies, we owned and operated all the network infrastructure for the Department of Defense and the Department of Navy at 600 bases. We owned and operated all that, and that was a started out as a $6.9 billion project. We put about 3 billion into that, and then it turned into about a $20 billion project. And I think we ended up with about maybe 6 billion of investment into that over about 8 years.
Got
Um,
it.
so this is a very similar infrastructure type of play. We're building factories. We have 30-year contracts. We're getting rid of waste. We eliminate landfills and recycling as you know it today, and we turn it into materials that we spend 96% less energy to make virgin materials from waste. So we're basically demanufacturing waste.
Got it. Understood. Understood. Do you think that you can raise 400 to 700 million from what do you have today of connections with the next 3 years?
No, that's just it. I gave up almost all my private equity LP connections about 15 years ago when I sold out of my last private equity company. I sort of just got out of the business.
Got it. And do you think that you would need to have help with the investor generation, or is it like more with the closing side, or is it like more into the whole process with the rentation process too?
I think it's more on the exposure side, investor generation, because we've got a pretty good closing team. I mean, we're not. One of the problems is that we're real familiar with institutional closing levels, and all of our deals will be credit rated. But we've been working. Most of my activity in the last 10 years has been with strategic equity partners that we both have a reason to be in the business and not investors. You know what I mean?
Understood. And when you say that you have good closing up rate, what do you have for closing for close up rate metric on it?
I can't tell you yet. We're not closing. I mean,
Exactly.
I haven't had to go out and raise capital for 15 years. I mean, now I'm in another business now, and we got to go raise a shitload of money. I mean, if we could raise $1 trillion, we could put it to use. I mean, that's how available our market is. I mean, the book of business that I have in the pipeline is $70 billion of investments.
Okay.
I'm not looking at closing all of it, but I mean, that's the scary part of this business, is that we can close the business and we don't have the rocket fuel. So I
Okay.
got to find the rocket fuel.
Understood. And what do you need help with specifically? I mean, with raising capital right here.
Well, I just wanted to meet you. I was intrigued by just your hooks and your taglines on your LinkedIn stuff. I'm 66 years old. I've been very successful. Um, I'm looking to build a capital formation group that literally can you know take on the world. Um, and they need to have global experience. We need to have. I mean, I've got proposals in 14 states and support from governors over here. We're working with the premier of Italy, the president of Cyprus. We're in 14 countries. So I need people that are really smart about global business and fund. And we need to be able to fund this, and we need to do it smartly, because there's lots of advantages in our business. I mean, one of our facilities that we put 150, $200 million into an investment has $180 million in tax credits in the United States. Give you an idea. It's an interesting business we're in. So.
Got it. Understood. So you need help with having capital formation to target the global market? Is it like more to target like the MENA market or others markets to deploy the fund to the US? Is that what you are looking to?
Yeah. So my experience in capital raising has been primarily U.S. I've taken 6 companies public, but I've had investors from Japan, Europe, no real Asian investors, and no real Middle East investors in any of my businesses. Although we're now doing business in the Middle East, and we've been approached many times.
Why not? Why not?
We just didn't have the business. We weren't doing business in the Middle East when I was raising money. That's probably the reason. We now are doing business in the Middle East. We're in Saudi Arabia. We have a corporation over there now. We're actually almost done with the permitting process. And we have a lot of people asking us to invest, and we just haven't been structured yet to take it. And that's what we're working on. We're now, okay, we got to build a fund.
Exactly. Understood. When are you looking to start raising capital?
Last year.
Last year.
Yeah.
Does that mean you are behind or what? Is that what you told me?
Well, when I look at the book of business, I feel I'm behind. All right.
Okay.
But
why do you think that? Why do you think that?
Fortunately, it's just a false fear. The reason I feel that is the book of business keeps building every week. Like we had 1 or 2 account names to the book of business, and probably we have a big safety valve in it. These contracts take around 12 to 24 months to negotiate. So the fear goes around when I start getting near the contract side, and I'm like, okay, nobody's trying to rush a contract through. We got time, you know what I mean? But it's the book of business keeps building. I've got 75 agency companies out there selling and marketing what we do, and we have a very high level criteria who we're going to work with, and we got 145 on the books right now. So I'm like, all right, well, if any of that, I mean, we've already closed 2 of these. First one closed in January. We're closing 3 to 4 more this year. Next year we'll close 6 to 10. Each of those takes $250 million.
Got it. So is it fine to do what you are doing today for a longer time, or what do you think?
Well, right now we are really focused on permitting and operational deployments. So the fun thing is something I spend maybe 6 to 10 hours a week on at the most right now.
Got it.
But I'm looking at putting a team together on that, and that will be a dedicated function. That's all that they'll do. And we have, I have a registered broker dealer that's affiliated with us. They're an investor. So I mean, we can cover all the SEC stuff. We can cover all the formal offering stuff in the United States. We're real good at all that. We're good at the legal. I mean, we use Ernst & Young as accounting. So I mean, things will be really nice and tidy, nice and clean. But again, like I said, we're just getting ready to get going.
Got it. And